Let's see, and testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks like it's working. I'll just squeeze that on over here. Point the microphone at my mouth. That tends to be the best way to go about that, I think. Let's see. That bouncing? It bounces for a little too long, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. Ah, what's the worst that can happen, huh? What's the worst that can happen? Alright, okay. That's on. That's playing. That's activating. That's posted. I can paint some funny little guys. Which, as we all know, is what I'm here to do. Orcs, 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 orcs. I'm sorry, that was probably a little too intense, huh? Okay. Alright, now that's looking a little bit choppy on my end, actually. What's the frame rate like on the actual live stream? I'm once again testing a new camera setup, which hopefully will do pretty well for me. I don't know. Hold on, let me just go. Let me just crunch some numbers real quick. 0.0x. Oh god, did I just absolutely... Oh god, what happened? That's not what I wanted. Oh no. Oh no, now everything's in a black void. Ah! Ah! Why does it look like that now? I didn't do anything! Oh no. It's an engaging slideshow. That's not what I want it to be! I need it to be a slick and smooth experience. How can I be an online miniature painter if my video isn't coming through at full 4K quality? Yeah, let me try that. Did that break everything? It only broke things a little bit. Okay, alright. It doesn't matter, I'm fixing this on the fly live. This is how the pros do it. I assume. Let me just put that up back to 1080. There we go. What does that do? What does that do? It makes everything completely off-center, but that's fine. Oh no, I'm dying, Scoob. I'm dying, Scoob. This is absolutely not what I wanted. This is the height of unprofessionalism, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. That's at least a little bit alright. Okay, okay. Does this make me a VTuber now? I don't know! I don't know. I needed a... On my end, I needed a new... what do you call it? I needed a new streaming solution that worked with my current setup, which apparently is just a bundle of sticks that's tying together a couple of loose circuit boards. See, for some reason, I always had a problem with running a stream with two separate cameras at once. Like, I have this really nice HD quality camera that's, well, basically just my mobile phone that's strapped to a laptop. But for some reason, it wouldn't play nice with any other cameras that I had. So I wasn't able to use my nice camera and have the camera both on my face and the miniature that I was painting at the same time. It was a bad system. So now I'm just going to put this little, funny little PNG man in the corner. You can all pretend I'm here. I mean, I am here, technically. I just bounce around for a little too long after I stop talking. Which is fine, it's kind of like in real life, actually. Okay, I want to finish up this guy. I want to finish up this funky little man. What do I need to do to finish him up? Now we need Doggo Cam. There will never be a Doggo Cam. Doggo passed away, unfortunately. He's gone. He's out of here. But he will be forever in our hearts. Okay. I think for the most part, this guy is mostly done. Like, the shade painting I did last time really is starting to tie everything together. What I do need to do now, however, is slap some basing stuff on his base. Yeah, that was a whole saga. It has been a while, fuck. Okay. Alright, now for the bases of these funny little guys, I like to use a little substance called Armageddon dust. Which I like, because it's a kind of like light brownie sort of color. Okay, there we go. Yes, we did lose the boy about a month ago. It was very unfortunate. Very sad. We're all still getting over it here in Ethan Land. But! That is entirely besides the point. We have minis to paint. Okay, let's see. Now for this little guy here, I want... I need to give him some basing stuff. Oh god. I don't think I have my basing paint here. Oh shit. I literally pulled out every paint that I could possibly need before going live, and I pulled out the wrong one. Fuck me. Where's my Armageddon dust? No, wait, it's over here. There we go, I found it. Okay, let's see how this goes. I still don't really know what the correct process is when it comes to using, like, basing cement. Because, like, well, first of all, I always go to call it base paint, which is simply incorrect. Alright, let's see. And of course it says my connection isn't great. But yeah, I can never quite remember what the best sort of strategy is for using technical basing paints. I always just sort of slap it down and hope it works. And mostly it does, but you know what? Sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. Okay. Let's see if that helps unclog the pipes. We're probably just going to have to bear with my technical limitations this time around, because it's the first time I've tried to use this new fandangled technology. We'll see if it works! Okay, let's see. What's that like? Alright, kbps is fine. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da! We'll see if that works. Actually, I should probably, like, turn down the... I'll try to shrink this little guy. Oh no, now you can see how small he is. No! Yeah, put him down there. You can just sit off in the corner, that's fine. There he is. He's just happy to be there. Okay, let's see. Scooping on the cement. Scooping on the cement. At least this little back part here is going to be pretty easy to do. It's also pretty easy to do on the camera as well. The camera's just pointing straight down. I'm able to show just like how slowly I need to slide that on there. There we go. I also like how there's a bit of rubble at the back here, like completely sections off the two parts of the base. This back half here is going to be very easy to apply the basing cement with. But it's this other side, where he's got like legs and shit, I'm going to be able to... I'm going to have to like really get in there, aren't I? It's still the guys doing the MJ thing with only one fishnet glove. I mean, that's just how I am. That's my go-to. That's my go-to look. Because A, in order for me to use my mobile phone, when I'm taking outfit pictures and things like that, I can't be double gloved up. I need at least one exposed thumb in order to take pictorial images and videos for the internet.com. And the other reason for that is that I don't know where the other fishnet glove is. I assume there's two. So I can only assume there is a second one that is rolling around somewhere in this house. But where it could possibly be, I have no idea. I simply don't know. I am unawares. Let's see. Also, I'm so glad that I actually have, like, a proper tool that I can use to apply base paint now. Normally, before this, I was just using a pair of fucking nail clippers. Which is absolutely not their intended use, by the way. Let's see. Any mistakes with texture paint can be carefully removed by rubbing with a toothpick. You see, you say that. But I feel like every time I fuck up applying, like, basing cement, it irreversibly colors the model forever. I don't know if that's a me thing, or like a Citadel Paints thing, or what. But on, like, half of the orcs that I've, like, painted and made, there will just be, like, splotches of, like, dirt brown on their shoes. Which I guess makes sense, you know, if they're walking around, like, walking through mud and all that shit. Like, it's fine, you know? But I know what I've done, and I can't forgive myself for that. I feel like it should be normalized to only lose one thing when having a pair. I mean, yeah, like, I always thought of myself as an odd man. By which I mean I have an odd number of things that should probably have even versions of half the time. I simply don't know if every sock that I own has its requisite pair. I don't know this, and I will likely never know this, truly. Because, like, I don't bundle up my socks when I take them out of the dryer. I simply just, like, put them all into a drawer. And when it's time to put on shoes, I try to find two that look vaguely similar. And I just chuck those bad boys on. Which, of course, results with me wearing a lot of odd pairs of socks. But you know what? I'm into it. If you let it dry first, it shouldn't stain. Ah, yes, that sounds like an important part of the process that I'm simply not doing. Ah, classic Ethan. Hey, have you ever considered that this thing you're doing is entirely your fault and based on working under incorrect information? No, I did not. I assumed that I was perfect all the time. That's a lie. I am deeply flawed. As we all are. Pairs are for squares. Lol. That's true. Listen. If you're neglecting your worldly duties to watch me do funny little things on the internet, first of all, I thank you, and I love you. Second of all, as long as you be reasonable, it's okay. Don't put off doing your taxes for me. Or anything important like that. I don't know, is that the most important thing in the world? I think as a child I was lied to about the importance of doing your taxes. Like, when I was young, I figured that doing your taxes was, like, the most, like the biggest, most mature, most, like, adult thing a person could do. And to a degree, that is accurate. But I have also known people who have, in their adult life, just been like, I have never filed taxes as an adult. And the IRS has not caught on to me yet. And we're like, hey, you should probably file taxes. And they're like, yeah, probably. But I just never got around to it, and I always forget. And we're like, hey, that's illegal. But no, he showed us. Never filed a tax return. And then no one came for him. Anyway, this is just a regular reminder that laws are simply conventional ideals that are beheld by no one. Everything is free. Consuming water is pretty important. I mean, depends who you ask. Taxes take a bite out of my fun stuff budget. Yeah. I mean, not to overshare, but my taxes this year are gonna fuck me up. They're gonna fuck me up! I'm not ready for it. I mean, I am ready for it, but... I don't want to do it. I don't want to pay him. Can I just not? I think technically, but that's probably... That's probably not good. Okay. Hey Ethan, mind sharing this background music? I believe this is the Cultist album from Far Cry 5. Yes, Far Cry 5 presents Into the Flames. So yes, it is hyper-Christian cult music, but it is ironic and parody. And that way I can freely admit to the fact that it fucking slaps. Ethan, I feel like you eat the apple core as well. I don't, awesome Pokemon 10, YouTube user. I don't eat the entire core of an apple, but I do eat the skin of an orange. That's my thing. Okay, I need to wait for this. Need to wait for this boy to dry. I'm gonna start working on some of his buddies. Actually, no, I can do the basing on this guy here, too. I'm very happy with how this guy turned out. Where is he? Like, this is probably one of my favorite kit bashes I've done in recent history. Like, I really had to try hard to get these commando arms, like, stuck onto this boy. And if you look closely, you can kind of see that. Like, you know, he doesn't have a, what do you call it? Like, he doesn't have a wrist cuff on both arms. Like, he's got a wrist cuff there, but he doesn't have a wrist cuff over there. I had to put this, like, shoulder pauldron on there to completely hide the fact that his fucking shoulder is, like, halfway off his torso. But I do like the fact that he has a big ol' pump shotgun. Pow, pow, pow. I can't eat fruit, that would be cannibalism. Heyo! Ha-cha-cha! Or so I'm told. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yes, I listen to hyper-Christian cult music. I like country music, okay? Sue me. I like songs that I can sing with a yeehaw cowboy hat upon my dome. Is that a crime? Is it? I don't think it is. I simply don't. Honestly, I didn't choose a playlist before I started this. I literally just threw on my video game music playlist that's the least likely to get myself copyright struck. So we're probably going to bounce around between fucking, like, intense cinematic orchestral battle music to, I don't know, the Peggle soundtrack. Does Peggle have a good soundtrack? I don't know, I never played Peggle. I feel like I feel like Peggle would be my, you know, middle-aged woman iMac game of choice. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're either a Peggle girly or a Sims girly, and I feel like I would be a Peggle girly. I'm a Pegger. What can I... Nope! Just gonna stop that one before it starts. I probably shouldn't be, like, putting my gross, icky fingers all over the model. That seems counterintuitive. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Hold it down the base. That's what I want to do. I'm feeling that, like, rush of inspiration that you get when, There's, like, a rush of inspiration that you get when you're, like, more than halfway through a model, and it's like, ooh, I'm past the point where I'm just slapping down the same 5 base colors again and again and again and again. Now I get to do fun stuff. Edge highlighting, dry brushing, shade paints. Better to be known as the Bloons guy. Listen, I haven't played Bloons Tower Defense in a very long time, actually. I'm all about Balatro now. I'm a Balatra boy. And it's got me by the fucking balls, I'll tell you that much. See, for me, I think about Balatro constantly. And that really should tell you just exactly the kind of person that I am. But one of the reasons why I've been thinking about this game so much is that it's literally, by definition, in an absolute matter-of-fact way, just a game, bro. Like, I feel like most video games these days have, like, fucking, what do you call it? You know, like, stories, and, like, narratives, and lore, and, franchises, and have characters, and etc, etc, etc. No, Balatro is literally just a card game. And you play it, you win, you lose. In fact, you always lose. It's impossible to win Balatro. You just keep going and going and going. And I feel like half the time I complain about games, like, not giving me an accurate or valid reason to keep playing. Like, I stopped playing Overwatch because they, you know, they took away the loot boxes. They made it so that, you know, there was no reason to keep playing. No EXP, nothing to unlock if you didn't buy the battle pass. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Now, I'm at a point where I'm playing Balatro. I'm just playing Balatro. It's not about unlocking things. It's not about progressing the story. It's not about keeping up to date with things. It's just digital crack. That's all it is. That's digital crack. Nah, it could be worse. Could be playing Final Fantasy Online. Okay, let's see. Wow, it's my little PNG... I think my little PNG-Tuber man is stuck. He's just screaming. I gotta fix it real quick, actually. That's annoying me. That's better. That's what we want to see. There we go. I don't know what went wrong, but he was just screaming. Okay. Don't put a little bit more scungy base paint down here. I probably don't get the best use out of my basing cement, and I probably put too much on the model, but I like it when the basing cement gets really, like, crackly and craggly, you know what I mean? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I love that. Gotta make sure it's pushed all the way down his toesies. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Alright. Give that a chance to dry. I'll start shading some other boys. Also, real quick. Check out this guy. I'm very happy with this guy. I can't wait to fully paint him off. Yeah, I love this fucking freak. Ah! He's a stealer. He stole a bunch of stuff. Yeah! Alright, what am I gonna do now? I realize I have a whole bunch of commandos that I just haven't, like, taken to the finish line yet. So that's something that I want to work on today. Because, like, I've got this guy here. Who else do I have? I've got this guy over here as well. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this. I'll just keep it black, honestly. Like, I don't really... Can't really be bothered painting it anything else. This guy here, and I also have the comms commando over here. Yeah, there we go. It'll be fun to give these guys a load of shade paint. Shade paint's one of my, like, funnest processes that I like to do. Or rather, I should say, the process that I perceive to be the funnest. Which is what it is. But luckily, since we're all at the same stage, I should be able to almost like speed run the shading process, because it's like, they all need the same paints. Nobody needs anything new or interesting. Agrex Earthshade, that's what I need. Boop. Let's see, what are we doing? Look at how fucked up this brush is. Gross! You inspired me to try out the orcs, got the commandos, and I'm messing around painting with them right now? Hell yes! I too am messing around with the commandos right now. Look at these bad boys! Look at them! Eh? That's probably loud, I'm sorry. I actually really like the commandos. Not only do I think the commandos are really fun to build and paint, but in the first ever game I played with like my full 1,000-point orc army, the commandos fucking ripped. Like, I think they're one of, if not the only orc that has the infiltrators ability, so you can just set them up on the battlefield like anywhere that you want. And that led to me having like such a juicy, like, early game advantage. Because I basically was able to just, like, slap them on a control point and just, like, get points. Like, yum, yum, yum. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Love me these free victory points. They were also my first unit that I actually, like, ever was able to, like, properly... Like, they were the first to charge into battle, and it was a high that I will remember for the rest of my life. It was intoxicating. Like, I charged up, and then beat the shit out of some Space Marines, managed to kill one of them, and I was like, yo, this is the best feeling ever, and then I completely forgot that the other person then also has a chance to beat the shit out of me. And let me tell you, Primaris aggressors, they hit you hard. They really know how to, like, use their giant power fists against you. Or against anyone, really. I think there's a hair on this model. Oh god, when did that get there? There's like a tiny hair coming off my brush that I need to... There we go. But no, I love the commandos. Not only are they a really, like, fun set to build, but I think they're also pretty good in game as well. Where are we? There we are. Schlup, schlup, schlup. But I'm always happy to hear, you know, my enthusiasm helped get people into the world of orcs. Apparently, orcs are not as popular as I thought they were, in the grand scheme of things. Like, when I played at a, combat patrol tournament at my local store over the last weekend, and I was actually surprised as to the spread of, factions that they had there. Like, what am I thinking about? Yeah, like, I was the only orcs player there. Like, I thought there would be at least one more orc player, but no. It's kind of taken aback, actually. You're telling me that there were two Custodes players at that tournament, but not a single player of the orcs. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't think they even sell Custodes at that store. Where'd this guy come from? Huh? Hello? Anyway. Ugh. It will look so grunky, like, as soon as you, like, put on the first layer of the shade paint. I promise it'll even out and look better in, once it's done, you know what I mean? Let's see, what are we doing here? There we go. No, I like the orcs. I love them. Alrighty. Let's see. I also like painting this guy, because I literally just have to, like, slap Agrax Earthshade all over his back. It's easy! I don't have to think. It's my favorite thing about the shading process. I just get in there and I glorp. Glorp? Okay, I mean, you do have to think a little bit, because, like... Agrax Earthshade is a very... How do I say this? It's not that it's difficult to work with. It's more just that, like... I think older batches of the paint didn't really, like, mix or set well. So, like, half the time I go to use the shade paint, it'll be, like, really thick and glunky over the model. But then other times it'll be like, ooh, I'm just, like, a layer of water that doesn't actually do anything. Schlup, schlup. Like, see that's, like, fucking... That's chunky as hell. That's not what you want. I gotta spread that out. Jesus. Jesus. Oops. Oh, God. Damn it, I created a little bit of, like, a... What do you call that? Like a smear spot in his shoulder? Evil. Hate it. Right, they get everything on the top here. That's my big concern. Oh shit, I gotta get it, like... Gotta get the little, like, glove things, too. Such a small surface area. Why do they make me paint that? It's interesting seeing the process. Still haven't finished painting a single model. It's a fun process. I mean, I always... The thing that always gets me about painting is that it's literally just... You're literally just, like, slapping chemicals down, and because of that, there's no one right way to go about it. Like, I feel like I follow a very conventional sort of process when it comes to painting. You know, base paints, shade paints, dry brushing, detailing, etc., etc. But, you know, some people just go, like, contrast paints and done. Or, like, they dry brush and then contrast. Or, like, some people use those, like, fancy little oil things. Like, there's oil paints that just, like, creep into every crevice, like, really satisfyingly. Ah, love it. No, that's my favorite part. Like, there's no one right way to go about it. And that both comes down to, like, you know, there's no one correct way to do a particular color scheme. Or there's no one way to do a particular, you know, faction color. You're all just making weird-ass choices and seeing what sticks. How do I paint the orc skin? Well, YouTube user PP Poo Poo. Oh. Thanks for making me say that out loud. I like to start my orc skin with a nice, healthy layer, and I don't think I have it on me for reference, but I like to start my orcs with a nice, healthy layer of Death Guard green. And then from there, once I have the base layer of Death Guard green now, which you can also see I've started to spray frame as Death Guard green first, I then cover that in a layer of Beal Tan green, which is a shade paint. And I'm actually going to shade some things on stream today, so you might be able to see a look at that in action. But once I do that, the sort of like light green base that I use gets a lot more like darkness and definition. So I really let the shade paints do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to orc skin. Like, I don't really stress about, you know, getting super nice like dark green coverage with the base paint. I really let the shade paint do most of the work. And is that lazy? I don't know. Everybody says I do really nice orc skins, so I'm gonna take the win where I can get it. Let's like look at this guy. I love him. You have returned. YouTube user Drywall 9000. I'm glad that you have. Okay. I feel like I laid this guy down on his back, and that might have, like, ruined my shade paints back here. No, they're fine. I just need to, like, let him dry. That's always my biggest issue that I have with shading, is that I won't give the models enough time to dry, and then I'll just, like, slap another layer of shade paint right on there. And then I'll get weird crease marks where the shade paint hasn't quite dried and I start schluffing it around. Which I know is a problem that I have, and yet I still do it constantly. Hold on, I need to take a sip. I think I might be accidentally making it harder by myself by overdoing it. I've started like 4 projects. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Like, you really don't need to have shade painting or anything like that. I'm the same way. Like, to me, where's a finished model? Where's a finished model I can show for emphasis? Do I really not have any finished orcs over here? Like, to me, this is a model that I would consider to be finished. Like, it's got all the detailing, the edge highlighting. You know, it's got all the cool basing stuff and everything. Very happy with how this one turned out, by the way. So it's the first time I've ever really been able to, like, fully show it off, because all of my video platforms are vertical oriented, and this is a very horizontal man. But yeah, you don't really need to go like that fucking ham. Like, honestly, here's one of my work in progresses. Like, this is enough. Like, it just got flat base paints. No shading, no fancy anything. This guy's just happy to be there. That's all that matters. No, I didn't throw him into the camera as well as I thought I did. Oh well. Okay. Back to shading. Who moved my shade paint? No, there it is. My desk is a mess right now. Just be lucky you can't see it. Be lucky I don't give you unfiltered access into my life. Now, yes, I am aware this orc should be shirtless, because if you kind of look closely there, his body piece has like scars on it and things like that. But if you also look very closely, the arms that I gave him had sleeves attached to them. So I had to paint his torso as though he was wearing a shirt. So now he's just wearing like a super skin tight singlet. And honestly, I love that look for him. Absolute king. But you wouldn't have known that unless I told you. And yes, I know I could have filed the details down or whatever, but I didn't do that. And nor do I really care. Yeah, that's the new hit look in the 41st millennium. No shirt, yes sleeves. But also like really short sleeves too. It's like you don't really want to commit either way. God, that's such a weird look. Thank you for the calming background to help me get the Fortnite victory royale as Miko Hatsune. Hell yes! I love to hear that. I can't believe they added the real-life Hatsune Miku into Fortnite. He's just there now. That's something that I need to get my head around. Because like all these other characters that they've added to Fortnite are just like avatars and stuff. Hatsune Miku is a digital woman. By adding her to Fortnite, she is literally like in there. Every time you die as Miku, she dies for real. It's actually interesting that I think it's interesting that they added Hatsune Miku to Fortnite, because I didn't think that the people who owned the rights to Hatsune Miku would willingly put her in a position where she could be killed with a gun. Like, that's the part that baffles me. Like, I can understand Hatsune Miku being in, like, fucking, I don't know, Rhythm Heaven, or, like, showing up in Super Smash Bros. As an assist trophy, or something. But not only did they give Hatsune Miku access to a firearm, they put her directly into harm's way, where she herself could be destroyed by a fire harm. And that's what I don't understand. Why would they do this to Miku? What did she do to them? Who did she piss off? Also, subtle detail of the Krieg helmet that's strapped to this guy's belt. I absolutely forgot to paint that. I was going to paint that in the color scheme of my other Krieg helmets, but I am simply too far gone to do it now. Hell yeah, fuckboy orc. God damn it. All my orcs are fuckboys, but they all have no riz. She's in there twice. Well, yeah, she's digital. You can, like, copy her as many times as you want. Digital woman. She can also become Godzilla? Of course she can. Why wouldn't she be able to do that? Like, of course. It's such a normal and human thing that you're telling me. And I'm reacting to it as the way any normal human being would react to that information that you've given me. Hatsune Miku Fortnite, god damn it. Listen, I appreciate Fortnite. I appreciate the fact that... I don't know, there's a lot that I like about Fortnite, and there's a lot that I don't. Like, I don't enjoy that it is kind of like this monolithical avatar of fucking modern consumer culture, or whatever you want to call it. That being said, I do love that it is a giant toy box where you can pit Goku and Spider-Man against each other and fight. Like, that to me is like every 12-year-old... That to me is like every 12-year-old boy's dream. And I'm glad that this generation has the ability to fucking do that. Me, I had to grow up playing, like, you know, indie fan-made Newgrounds Super Smash Bros. Clones. Which, I will say, definitely slapped, especially for the time. Anyway, maybe I'm just jealous that I can't play Fortnite on the Steam Deck. Maybe that's all it comes down to. Because, like, I did play it for a little bit when I moved and only had my old shitty laptop that I could use for games. And, yeah, it was pretty fun. I can see why the kids are into it. Was I jumping out of my skin to get that victory royale? Probably not. Okay, let's see. I don't want to put the darker Agrax Earth shade paint on some of the lighter fabrics on this model. Like, he's got the bedroll up top, and he's got this, like, little rope around his legs there. I think I want to stick with, like, a lighter Seraphim Sepia or something like that. Is that the right color? Seraphim Sepia? Hey, Pia! One of the two. Alright, next up is Yo. I do enjoy how, like, this guy's, like, little eyes are different. Well, they're not different colors, but, like, the yellow paint has set in the... Come on, focus. What are you doing? The yellow paint has, like, set in the eye sockets differently, so one of them almost looks kind of, like, darker than the other. I like how that turned out. That absolutely wasn't intentional. Didn't get the notification. That's all good. I'm well today. It's been a cruisy day. I spent my lunch break figuring out how to make a little PNG-Tuber man. And there he is, bouncing in the corner. There's definitely some improvements I can make. I think sometimes he gets stuck in screaming mode. But I think it'll be good if I just want to, like, throw on a stream or something. And, don't want to, like, have my face shown on the internet. Which happens sometimes, contrary to popular belief. But it also helps that I'm running all my streams off a shitty little laptop that absolutely, definitely, 100% cannot fucking... is not up to the task of streaming in super high quality. To the point where I cannot have my good phone quality webcam used on the stream, as well as another secondary webcam. So if I want to have a camera on both my face and the minis, I have to use a shitty webcam that I absolutely probably shouldn't be using, and also my laptop's, like, built-in webcam, which... We all know how well, like, built-in laptop webcams work. It's not the grandest solution. Maybe that'll be my, like, big purchase to myself this year. Maybe I'll try to get, like... Maybe if I make, like, $1 more billion on the internet.com, I will, Hold on a sec. Why is this playing? I chose this like random playlist because I assumed it would be like royalty-free music that I could play on stream. No, there are some incredibly copyright-heavy songs on here, and I did not realize that. That's fine. Who needs monetization anyway? I'm just vibing. But no, maybe I'll try and save up this year and buy myself like an actual proper computer setup. I mean, I have my Steam Deck, and that definitely works for me. You know, maybe I'll try running a stream on the Steam Deck, see how that works. Well, my laptop's already pretty good, so... If it barely feels up to the task, then I don't think anything else will be. Not even God can save me. And I've asked. Anyway. PNG then. God, that's good. Why didn't I use that? I'm gonna use that and pretend it's me. Pretend it's mine. Yeah, I'm just figuring out how to make a little guy bounce in the corner. Nah. Nah. I literally just, like, crunched up this drawing on my lunch break today. That's a lie. It took me significantly longer than that. But anyway. I think it's good to have a little base that I can tweak and have some fun with. Maybe I'll need to adjust the eyes so it looks like he's not fucking falling asleep or trying to seduce you. Either that or he just looks really high. Whatever the case. That wasn't words. What am I talking about? Okay. Now, I don't know why I made this boy's breacher ram made out of wood, apparently. It was a choice, but I'm sticking with it. That one's on the house. Okay, let's see. That's a pancaked freebie. Alright, let's see. Just want to make sure I get good coverage of the Earth's shade. Especially around the parts that are, like, hidden under other things. But yeah, I think this year I kind of want to make... Like, I kind of want to make a push for more... Well, I guess I gotta be careful how I say it. I kind of want to do a push towards more, like, monetized stuff on the internet, if that makes sense. Like, I really enjoy making dumb little videos and content and stuff like that, so if I can figure out... I gotta figure out how to make money on this thing. I really want to. It's too good. I think that's a fucking... It's a bit somewhere. I can't remember what show it's from. But like, I want to try and do like more cool premium stuff on the internet.com. And I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like. Still trying to figure out what that looks like. You know, I've made like a Ko-fi this year, and I want to do more like Ko-fi benefits and things like that, or at least figure out what I think to do. This playlist is full of copyright music. I simply cannot listen to this on YouTube. I think I made this playlist when I was like, I don't know, on Twitch at some point, And I was like, yeah, no, it's just like it's just a bunch of like cool little fucking songs that won't get me like copyrights. No, that's right, because like normally on YouTube I listen to like video game soundtracks because that doesn't get me copyright anything. It doesn't get me any copyright flags or anything like that. But on Twitch, all I needed to do was like listen to bands that were obscure enough that they didn't have a giant label perusing the internet for DCMA takedowns. Run DMG, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. So now we're just going to sit here in awkward silence. Just going to listen to a generic fantasy fucking playlist. Okay. I mean, I do love listening to... Same here. Yeah, I think it's a feeling we all feel. I mean, I for one love listening to video game soundtracks, even just out in the real world. So throwing on a game soundtrack to have a little stream to is not out of the question for me. I mean, I also feel like I need to do a lot of like soundtrack research for things like D&D as well. I don't think it's been such a big thing since I moved to Canada, but back at home, you know, when I was running D&D campaigns, I was kind of playing amateur DJ as well. Like, I tried to find the perfect battle music, the perfect ambient music, the perfect fucking shopkeeper music. I had entire playlists all sorted by vibe, which I guess isn't an insane thing to do. That's a very normal way to sequester music, to my understanding. I just have an encyclopedic knowledge of obscure video game soundtracks. Do not even get me started on the vintage 80s Mortal Kombat soundtrack. Mwah! Alright, who needs the first layer of green paint? I think I did this. Yeah, I did this guy first. Hopefully, we can D&D soon. Life just needs to get sorted out. I know you like Gloryhammer, but do you enjoy other power metal bands like Ailstorm? Oh, I love Ailstorm. I was listening to Ailstorm when I was in fucking high school, which I think at this point was about 30 years ago? 25? Once you get into the double digits, you sort of stop keeping track. But no, Gloryhammer, Powerwolf, Battle Beast, the Beast in Black. I always get Battle Beast and Beast in Black mixed up. Mostly because they have very beast-centric names, so I don't think I'm exactly wrong for confusing those two. Who else? Fucking Glyph. That's a new indie one that I found on TikTok. They had like one viral song that they like tied to the release of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. A Storm of Crimson Fire. No, I fucking love power metal. Power metal's rock. Mega Man 2 soundtrack. I don't know about the Mega Man soundtrack specifically, but I love retro video game soundtracks, and I am a slut for retro video game soundtracks that have been quote-unquote modernized. Like, give me an epic orchestral cinematic rendition of the Super Mario Bros. Theme. I love it. I had no idea how to end that sentence, but I had a weird start there, but I think I pulled it off. I love video game soundtracks, man. Like, they're just too good. Like, there was... Oh, what was it? There's been a video game soundtrack that I've been listening to, like, non-stop over the last couple of weeks. It's, I've been I think I did a gameplay video of it last year, but, like, Hard Space Shipbreaker, which I know either sounds like an erotic visual novel or like some weird anime thing, but it's a great little relaxing game about like cutting up ships in space. I say that I love it, and it was one of my favorite games I played last year, but I did only play it for like 2 hours, so I really should get back into it. God, I do that all the fucking time. Like, yeah, this game is great, I love it so much. Total playtime, an hour and a half. That was me with Speed Freaks, honestly, and I kind of feel bad for it. Like I made that video last year about how the Warhammer game Speed Freaks is actually good, and you should still play it. And then I immediately stopped playing Speed Freaks. Which I guess, you know, could be told as being emblematic of you know, the state of modern like free to play gaming market. Although it still is an open beta, so you know, I feel like me stopping the playing of Speed Freaks was a little bit more contextual, because like I think the last time I played they only had 2 maps, and when you're just playing across the same 2 maps over and over and over and over again, and there's not enough content to like go in there and unlock, you do sort of tune out after a while. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna put this down for a bit. But I am very interested to see sort of how it, like, grows and develops. Like, it's very rare for me to play an open beta and, like, actually go the extra mile and use the fucking feedback forms that they all have, which is something that I think we should do more often. Like, if you have genuine feedback about a video game, I definitely think that it's worth, you know, using the appropriate channels to tell developers about that. Yeah, it does. It just means it left an impression, you know? And boy, let me tell you, Speed Freaks did leave an impression on me. Like, it was so much fucking fun. Like, I absolutely loved... Like, it was just so exciting. Like, there was no other way to describe it. Like, you're driving cars, you're shooting people, you're trying to get objectives. Something about it that just makes my unmedicated ADHD brain, like, produce an infinite amount of serotonin. But maybe it was my unmedicated ADHD brain that fucking also made me like put it down and not get back to it. I don't know. Probably shouldn't say that. I don't think I actually... Whether or not I have ADHD is entirely in like up in the air. It's never something that I've been tested for. I'm just a weird little guy, but I'm weird enough to the point where if you told me I had something neurologically up with me, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like it makes sense. I missed your stream so much, and I missed you, YouTube user Manuel. Come here, give me a big hug. Ah! I just needed a noise to make the little PNG man bounce. I'm very happy that I found a fun little like PNG-Tuber app. I think I need to make some tweaks to get it to run a little bit smoother. I can also put some like blinking frames in there as well. This man hasn't blinked the entire time. Nobody's blunk. And I hope you haven't either. My friend has been kit bashing all the vehicles from Speed Freaks. Fuck yes. I mean, that was my number one thing with Speed Freaks, was that it was like, okay, this game is pretty fun. And knowing that every one of these vehicles is a product that I can go out and buy, well, most of them are, there was a couple that were added in there specifically for the game, but knowing that all of these are models that I can go out and physically purchase and build with my own 2 hands is a dangerous thing to learn. Anyway, I own a Death Killer Wartrike now, but that's only because it was in the Battle Force box that I got. Which I specifically sought out to buy. Anyway. Schrodinger's ADHD. Yeah, we'll never know. Yo! Yo, right back at you. YouTube user Nepalist Jesus. Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm trying to do my due diligence and make sure the green shade paint doesn't pool in any places that it shouldn't. Because when it comes to the orc skin, you really want to get like a nice... You really want to get nice layers of that green skin. Like back on the knuckles there's definitely... Yeah, like you want it to pool just enough that it like draws down from his knuckles to the back of his hand, so it kind of makes him look like he has... like the bones on the back of his hand. What do you call them? Hand bones? Yeah, that sounds close enough. Okay. I'm gonna let him dry. I almost dropped him on the floor, but that's neither here nor there. And I'll return to you. I don't know why I made his breacher ram made out of wood. It just seems counterintuitive. Like, if he was using this to, like, bust down doors... I feel like he needs something a bit more sturdier. It's basically just a chunk of tree. Which I guess is what they used to break down doors in olden times. Did they have doors in olden times? Well, if they did, they'd certainly need a means by which to break them down. When did we invent doors? I don't know. I'm painting a cousin of the Space Orc, the Elder Scrolls Orismier? Hell yes! We love Elder Scrolls in this house. It's for a friend and I'm trying desperately not to mess it up. Oh, that's always the worst. Like, if you're working on something for yourself, yeah, it can be as much shitty garbage as you want it to be. In fact, sometimes making shitty garbage for yourself is half the fun. But as soon as there is the expectation of, like, the eyes of other people, then it's like, oh shit, I need to be putting my best foot forward, and if I don't, I am going to be killed. Socially, at least. But when is that ever really the case? Like, when has anyone gone out of their way to make someone something with their own two hands, putting their literal blood, sweat, and tears behind the act, and be met with nothing less than, hey, this rocks? I mean, there's probably plenty of examples for that. People are the worst, but you know what I mean? I cannot imagine getting something from somebody that was physically created, bespoke for me, to me, and then just going like, yes, fine, I guess. Why don't you buy me one from the store like a real person, idiot? No! I would jump up and down and go yippee. As I would in any situation where I feel unbridled glee. Okay, this is definitely pulling around his shirt. I want to, like, dap that up. Dap, 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 dap. There we go. Yeah, it was really starting to pool around those Krevitsis. Just want to guide it up a little bit more into those neck folds. Yeah, look at that. Look at that! I don't know too much about the Elder Scrolls. I think I just never grew up with it. Like, I know that there are people out there who are absolute Elder Scrolls, like, lore fiends. And that is... That's something that I haven't quite understood. I mean, I get it. Like, I fucking love fantasy shit and everything like that. But to me, the Elder Scrolls kind of just appeared out of nowhere when Skyrim came out. Like, it... Despite the fact that the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim literally had the numeral 5 in the title of the game, I genuinely thought that it was the first in the franchise. I'm sorry. I thought it was a Star Wars Episode 4 thing going on. Also, hey, by the way, why do they start with Star Wars Episode 4? That's literally the most insane thing anybody has ever done in their entire life. What the actual fuck, Lucas? If you don't mind me asking, what's your accent? I'm Canadian. But before that, I was Australian, which is where the voice comes from. Look at me, I lied to you is what I did, and I'm sorry about that. Did you animate the avatar? I drew it! I had some spare time today, so I just... I drew it, and I put it in an app, and now the app makes it bounce up and down. It's actually surprisingly easy. I gotta play with that more. I think having a little avatar in the corner will be, like, advantageous to me. Because, listen, I know my whole... I feel betrayed. I'm sorry. Lying to people on the internet is just what Australians do. Or Canadians. You never know. But, like, you know, sometimes it's difficult to get all, like, glammed up. Especially, you know, with the work schedules that I have, sort of thing. I think for me, I want to get into a routine where, like, I can just sort of, like, throw on a stream on and do whatever. You know, just sort of have it on in the background sort of thing. So I think having a bouncing little man in the corner is definitely a good thing. Why am I listening to fucking Count of the Opera? That's nothing. Count of the Opera. What the fuck am I talking about? What am I talking about? But no, I should add some, like, little blink animations to that little fucker in the corner. Let's see, what else do I need to do on you? I think I'm ready for... yellow shading now. Am I? Ah, well, no time like the present. What's the worst that can happen, eh? Oh. Where's my yellow paint? Where did you put it? Where did you put it? God, don't tell me I lost my yellow shade paint. That's the most important one. No, it's over here. Yeah! Oh, Seraphim Sepia, my beloved. Look how much of it I've used. Jesus Christ. This thing's like half empty. And it's a shade paint. How does that work? Riddle me this, liberals. Okay. Alright. Let's see, there's not really much that I want to shade yellow in this guy. I'm gonna put like a little yellow spattering on his mask. And also the rope. Oh, and the handle of his blade up there. Oh, and the bedroll. I lied. There's actually a lot of yellow shading that I want to do here. There's actually quite a bit of yellow shading I want to do here. Alright. Here we go. Oh yes, I got the Krieg's mask down here as well. I was originally going to shade this mask to be like the same color as my other little Kriegsman that I painted, but then I completely forgot that I glued him there, and then I had already started shading, and so it's like, whoops, can't go back. I feel bamboozled. That means I've done my job. I'm quite the bamboozler. I'm quite a bamboozler. Ew. I hated that. Yeah, let's put a little bit of shade paint. Make it nice and dreary. Nice and gloppy. I just want to get it nice and streaky there. Ah! Shit. Did I fuck something up? No, I'm good. Yeah, and just on the bedroll up here, too. Let's see, up here. Swoop, swoop, swoop. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I love using colored shade paints. I know everybody goes to, like, everybody, like, really gravitates towards Null Oil for shading everything. But, like, something to me about choosing, like, the right shade paint for the right base color just, like, really elevates things to me. Then again, I might not be using shade paint. I might not be using Null Oil or other shade paints properly, because, like, when I was at my Combat Patrol tournament last weekend, there was this person there, and she was like, "Oh, you know, sorry, I'm really new at this. I don't know what I'm doing." I swear to God, this girl had, like, literally some of the best painted miniatures that I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And she was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm really new to this. I don't really know what's going on. Sorry, I probably didn't do anything right." And it's like, shut up. These are gorgeous. What have you done? Like, I understand why creative people have self-esteem issues, but, like, to see somebody go like, "No, it's like, it's not good, you know, it's like, don't, it's probably bad, don't look at it, no. And then actually the thing that they've created is, like, one of the single greatest bastions of human creativity that you've ever seen in your entire fucking life. I just want to go like, hey, fuck you, you idiot. This is perfect. It's gorgeous. I'll kill you. Know your worth, motherfucker. But no, she said for her shading, she just, like, slapped down a bunch of Null Oil, and these models looked great, so maybe I'm just not using Null Oil to its full potential. Maybe I'm not using myself to my full potential. Whoa. Much to think about. What the fuck am I listening to? There we go. Yeah, give it something a little more jaunty. I need to put a jaunt in my step. I need to jaunt my joint. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know why I went with yellow dynamite on his back, but you know what? I don't hate it. I'm sticking by it. It was a good decision, and I will not hear any criticisms for it. Alrighty. There we go, there we go. Also, I love putting, like, the yellow shade paint on, like, cloth wraps and things like this, like up here. Like, the way that it just sort of, like, seeps into the crevices really adds, like, another layer to it. Though I will say the coat of the cloth paint that I put on this, like, sledgehammer handle is a little bit too thin. I probably should have gone back and, like, added another layer. Yellow is money and better explosions. You know what? Then it makes perfect sense. And therefore, I've never done anything wrong in my entire life, and I'm a god gamer. You heard it here first, I can't take it back. Okay, it's sort of like creeping into the, side of the pack a little bit, for my liking, but you know what? That's fine. Once it dries out, it'll look a little better. Okay. See what the yellow across the wood looks like. Yeah, I don't think the... Actually... the yellow across the wood... doesn't actually do all that much. Like, it's a very... The yellow shade paint is very similar to the wood color that I used. I might have to go in with, like, an Agrax Earthshade or something after this to fill out the shading a little more. Yeah. Like, yeah, I've just slapped a bunch of shade paints down there, you can barely even tell, right? Okay. Actually... Why don't I slap down the Agrax Earthshade now, while it's still wet? See if I can, like, blend it together. I've seen some people do that, like, to get some, like, crazy effects, but I've never really tried it myself. How do you buy cosmetics as a guy without getting into weird looks? You go into literally any modern Sephora, and, like, 30% of the people who work there are men. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, like, every fucking Sephora that I go to these days, like, half the people walking around there are either, like, dudes who work there, who are in full, like, glitter glam looks themselves. Like, there's people, and my favorite thing is when I'm walking around a Sephora, is when I see... There are two kinds of people who I see doing this. One of them is doing it genuinely, and one of them is, like, absolutely putting on a farce. It's when they, like, look at... when they, like, pick up a beauty product, or, like, a makeup product or something, and they just look so overtly confused. Like, cartoonishly confused. And, like, you can clearly tell whether someone's doing it to just, like... you know, look at a product and go like, oh, haha, I don't know what this is. Like, what could this possibly mean? Let me look at every detail on the side of the package. Like, motherfucker, it's primer. Like, you know what this is. Just buy it. But no, like, half the people who work there are, at least the ones in my city, is like, fucking dudes. It's fine. You're buying a thing. That's the thing. That's the thing that you gotta remember. Like, you know, if you really wanna, like, if you really want to save yourself, just loudly declare, ah, yes, my significant other will love this, every time you pick up a product, and then from there you'll be fine. That's what I do. I am often asked to leave for screaming in retail establishments. It's true. Okay. Oh shit, I gotta do this, guy. I forgot to... I closed the yellow shade paint before I was able to shade this guy's rope. Why do they all have rope? Pinky bastards. What? But no, I do get what you mean. Like buying cosmetics can be a bit of a daunting experience the first time around, but after that... Like, listen, the number one thing that I think about when it comes to, like, buying things that I am scared to buy or, like, intimidated to buy or something or other is that these people who you're buying stuff from work in retail, right? You are not going to be the strangest thing that they see today. They are going to get yelled at by somebody for some absolutely inane reason that has nothing to do with them and it's entirely out of their control. And, like, that's what they're gonna go home and remember. They're not gonna think about the man who bought black lipstick. Like, that's gonna be the last thing on their minds. I'm gonna slap some Seraphim Sepia up there just to, like, get a little bit more of a goldy, coppery effect on the... under coils. Okay. I think with that, most of the shading is done. I'll just slap some Seraphim Sepia on this metal bit, just give it a bit of a bronzy highlight. Yeah. Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, I definitely wish I did a bit of a thicker coat on those wraps, but that's fine. Now, I don't think there's going to be too much... I don't think there's going to be too much. I hope you don't think I'm rude, but I'm also, like, snacking on biscuits while I do this. If you can hear me crunching, I'm deeply sorry. Do you ever think you'll ever write another short story like Boombox? One of my favorite things about the internet.com is whenever somebody, like, references a thing that I did back to my face, because my first gut instinctual reaction is always like, how do you know about that? How are you in my house? Who told you? And then I remember that I posted on the internet.com literally for everybody on the entire planet to view and consume, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've actually been writing a lot this year. Like, I love writing, and I love creating dumb little stories. I also love painting my miniatures behind my PNG-Tuber avatar so nobody can see them. Anyway. But no, I love writing. I love making stories. There's actually It's actually a longer form story that I've been working on for a while now. Like, I wrote a book, and it's kind of done, I think. Like, all it really needs is, like, an editing pass. Which I think it mostly needs because I think I did, like, a whole editing pass on it, and then for some, like, reason, for, like, cloud reasons, it didn't, like, save properly. Because I've been going through it, and it's literally, like, it's just spelling errors. That I'm really, like, fucking like, oh, how the fuck did I miss that? But anyway, like, I finished writing a book, and I've been thinking about how best to get it out there, and one part of me was like, well, if I'm gonna, like, do a book, I've gotta, like, record an audiobook version, right? And so that was something that I started working on. I started, you know, going to a local recording studio, like, recording, literally, like, recording the audio of, like, this book that I wrote. And, you know, I posted some TikToks, like, a good couple of months ago, so, like, late last year, about the process, and, like, little snippets and things like that. And I was working on that for a little bit. That sort of had to take a backseat as some live stuff sort of came to the fore. But now I'm sort of sitting here going, like, man, nobody buys books anymore, like, you know, everyone's listening to podcasts and, like, internet things and things like that, you know what I mean? So I've been thinking about how best to, like, get this story that I wrote out there, and part of me, I've been thinking lately about releasing it, like, on YouTube for free, because, like, I don't know, this is kind of a theory that I have with, a lot of, like, modern creativity and things like that, but especially in terms of, like, books and stories and stuff like that, the landscape of media has changed so dramatically that I have no idea how bookstores are, like, are still in business. Like, especially for, like, new up-and-coming authors who, like, haven't really, like, made a name for themselves anywhere else. Like, I simply don't know how they can survive, or how they can get their names out there. So to me, the idea of, like, releasing an audiobook for free on YouTube, like, would kind of eliminate one of the biggest hurdles I think a lot of new writers have to face, which is, of course, like, getting the word out, and, like, getting, you know, getting new eyes on their work. And, of course, putting it online for free is definitely, like, it would be bad in the sense that, like, no one would, you know, pay for the book that I wrote, or, like, you know, give me $20 for this thing that took, like, years of my life to sort of put together. But I don't know, if, like, a couple 100,000, or, you know, if a large number of people, like, listened to the audiobook in an ad-supported platform, it might cancel each other out. But I don't know, that's something that I've been working on in the background. And I say in the background very loosely because, I mean, just lots of other stuff has taken sort of the sort of forefront of my attention over the last couple of weeks, months, however long it's been at this point. But hopefully this year I can definitely post a couple more stories and, you know, do a couple of, like, more narrative things on the internet, which is something I've really been wanting to do for the most part, because, like, I love telling jokes. I love, like, making dumb little videos about, you know, miniatures and painting and all that nerd shit. But I also love telling stories, you know? I love D&D, I love, you know, I love Warhammer because I can, like, create these little things and share them with people online. So yeah, I do want to do more stuff with, like, stories and narratives and shorts and things like that this year. I just have to figure out what that looks like. And who knows what the answer's going to be. Alright. Let's see, I've put a bunch of shade paints on these boys. And I'm very happy with how their progress is going. They're one step closer to being finished. I just gotta wait for the, like, basing cement to dry so I can, like, also shade and dry brush that and everything like that. But I think from there, I'm going to give myself a little break and take a step away from the computer. I really want to analyze, like, how the fucking stream worked, because I keep getting a whole bunch of, like, warnings and stuff and, like, lag on my end, so I want to go back and see if that, like, translated into the live environment. It probably did. But this was a fun little experiment to see what the bouncing PNG-Tuber and a high-def webcam would sort of work like. But now I gotta see how that worked and see if I can make some changes from there to make it smoother and better next time. So, thank you for coming around and hanging out. I think if I can get, like, a good setup with this little PNG-Tuber thing, I might be able to do this a lot more frequently, because it's, like, I don't know, it's just fun. And it'd be a lot easier for me to just, like, throw on a little PNG-Tuber rather than get, like, all dressed up, especially after I'm working full-time, so it's fun. I can definitely see myself doing this a lot more after I work out some of them kinks. Ew. Shouldn't have said it like that. Anyway, I'm gonna take a snooze. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by. Clunk.
Many people have been quick to tell me that my custom Space Marine lore is quote-unquote non-canonical or simply too silly.